Hello guys, and welcome back to another reaction video on the channel today. I'm Yosa Shadow Lord, and for today's episode, we're going to be reacting to another video by Goji Center. Now, previously, we've seen why Godzilla fought and killed Scylla. Now we're going to see why he fought and killed Tiamat. And if you guys want to see more videos like these, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the channel. And without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. 3, 2, 1, play.
Today, we will continue our coverage of Godzilla's bloodthirsty warpath through the planet as he eliminates insubordinate titans one by one.
Yeah,
in a previous episode, we explained why Godzilla erased Titanus Scylla from the list of titans, and how.
Already seen that episode.
In Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, Godzilla was out for blood. After delivering final judgment to the giant crab, he was still not finished. Up next was Titanus Tiamat. But why?
He finally made an appearance on screen, by the way.
Such fate. Sit back, listen closely, and make sure you smash that subscribe button.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button, everybody.
Execution explained. After the release of The New Empire, many people amongst the fan base and even some big outlets started highlighting what was described as a kaiju injustice that happened in this film. Apparently, Godzilla had absolutely no reason to kill Tiamat, much less turn this eviction into an execution. Yeah, from the surface, it seems a little unfair and quite frankly out of character for Godzilla to eliminate a titan out of nowhere.
Deeper analysis.
Godzilla is described as a force of nature that keeps balance.
It's true, he is a protector.
But in GXK, Godzilla pretty much headed towards Tiamat, who was apparently just chilling in her lair, kicked her out, and then killed her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Today we'll find out if this act was in fact unfair or warranted.
Alright.
To find out, we'll have to travel back in time to the events that happened during Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Backstory?
Yeah, Tiamat actually had a big role here too. Although not seen in this film, this titan actually inflicted a huge death toll as commanded by Ghidorah, beginning in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Possibly
I would have loved to see her in King of the Monsters. It would have been cool.
Hydrokinetic abilities.
At least she appears on screen in the new one.
Hydrokinetic abilities allow her to easily make her way through dry land back into the sea, leaving potentially millions of dead life forms in her way.
Wouldn't she be slow on land, though,
considered
too?
a destroyer by Monarch, and because of this, she would obey a destroyer Alpha Titan like Ghidorah. But this alone is not why she was on Godzilla's blacklist. Remember, both benevolent and malevolent Titans were doing Ghidorah's bidding, so this act alone wasn't going to warrant her execution.
Not really.
What she did after these events mattered a lot. Moving forward in time, post-2019, after Godzilla established himself as the new Alpha, Godzilla would travel the world, putting the bad Titans in their place, making the bad ones submit. Even going out of his way to rescue a destroyer Titan from humans, and brutally killing one that settled in his old lair. The Genitor Murder
was brutal.
Yeah, as you'll soon find out, Godzilla doesn't like anyone staying in his crib.
Nope, he does not.
One lair where he used to
live previously, you pay the price.
Kicked out by this guy. No, we're not kidding. And this is not Kong, by the way. This was another member
surprised
of the
that happened.
that actually kicked Godzilla's
they said that
out
he was lost to that Kong when he was younger.
For Godzilla. But now, after many years, and him being more powerful and evolved this time, he was
wanted that rematch
and retake it. But that wasn't it. He was going there to kill him. Remember how he had just killed this big fish for being in his old house? Yeah, this one had it.
Imagine if he and that Kong had a rematch, by the way.
Where the big fish was because it had already
I know it's
been
not
destroyed,
Kong himself,
or
but
stood as collateral damage whenever Serizawa blew up the nuke to help him heal. This helped Godzilla, but he ended up losing his house as a result.
Yeah,
so
he
now
didn't have
Godzilla
anywhere to go
sets his
back
sights
to,
on
you
an
know?
old lair he once called home, where this ape was. Or so he thought. Once arriving on the shores of his old lair, Godzilla was quickly ambushed by a much more dangerous Titan.
Tiamat?
Well, you guessed it, Tiamat. Now, Godzilla already had a good reason to dislike Tiamat, but why was she here? After King of the Monsters, all remaining Titans went back to their lairs, and Tiamat just went to find something more comfortable and isolated. Arriving here, either killing off the ape that kicked Godzilla out of here many years back, or just simply moving in after this ape had already died.
What do you guys think? How do you think this
What mattered was that she was here, and she needed to get out. But instead, Tiamat came out swinging, ambushing Godzilla and taking him into deep water, cutting him from all directions, temporarily blinding him and almost killing him.
It's true. If Godzilla did not appear on land, he would have died.
But note how this time Godzilla didn't use his atomic breath. Yeah, Godzilla made her submit using his land advantage and stomped her into submission. She agreed and left. Perhaps Tiamat was too valuable of a Titan to kill right there. After all, she submitted, and Godzilla let her leave in peace.
That is true.
But that doesn't mean Godzilla didn't hold a grudge here. From here on, as per the novelization of GXK, The New Empire, Tiamat actually obeyed and found another place to settle. After the events of Godzilla Dominion,
that is a good comment, by the way.
Tiamat had been compliant to Godzilla's command to stay out of trouble. Monarch had actually tracked her for months. There were absolutely no recorded incidents or even rumors of Tiamat causing trouble. In fact, it was mentioned in the novel that her whole objective was to stay away from Godzilla. A completely different mindset than what Scylla had, who, on the other hand, actually wanted a rematch.
That is true.
So now
good for Tiamat for that part. She didn't turn into Scylla.
Picking up on the Iwi's Hollow Earth distress calls, which made him seek more sources of radiation to become stronger for the upcoming threat.
More power.
Though, Godzilla ended up doing the exact same thing Scylla did before she squared up with him.
I mean,
the G-Man proceeded
if you
to visit
think about it,
power plants and siphon up the energy exactly as Scylla did earlier.
That is true. We did see something similar.
More radioactive. So much, in fact, that even being near him at the time was life-threatening. Whatever or whoever Godzilla was heading towards was about to have a really bad time.
Yeah.
And it turned out that Titanus Tiamat
was the target.
Stop. Coincidentally, Godzilla was making his way to the Arctic Pole not really because of Tiamat, but because of the valuable resource that was located where Tiamat lived.
He needed
Tiamat's
that power.
lair happened to be right in the trajectory of electromagnetically charged solar winds, the same stuff that instigates auroras. This location made it
auroras
one of the,
look cool, by the way.
I
have not seen them in person, but they do look cool.
Earth. Did this have any effect on Tiamat? Most definitely yes. You may have noticed that Tiamat looks a bit different from her form back in Godzilla Dominion. Back in 2019,
that is true. She does look a little bit different in the comic rather than the movie.
Fins to help her propel through air and water. Her bioluminescence would fall within the blue, aqua, and purple tones. After she left Godzilla's old lair, she decided to settle here, the largest stockpile of energy on the surface world. In GXK, she takes on a much different form. A larger array of fins with the sharpness of obsidian and hardness of titanium, 4 small stubby limbs to aid her in steering underwater, and, most notably, a pink coloration similar to the energy that was being stored in this area.
That is true.
Like Scylla, Tiamat may have also gone through some evolution during her dormancy here, absorbing the radiation, giving her this pink glow, and developing body attributes that help her maneuver this icy landscape better, cutting through glaciers without any problems. Was it a coincidence that Tiamat chose this spot? Maybe, but Godzilla may have seen things differently. If we're really going to try to understand why Godzilla killed this kaiju,
you gotta put yourself in his shoes then.
And think like Godzilla for a brief moment. First and foremost, we must mention that the novelization gave no good reason as to why Godzilla decided to go as far as killing Tiamat. All Titans that Godzilla has killed in the past were killed because they provoked Godzilla.
That is true.
Monarch didn't seem to find a good reason other than that the G-Man just wanted to take over this energy. But that's a boring answer.
Yeah, that would
Godzilla
be
just wanted this energy, he would have just told Tiamat to move aside. Well, he did. In the film, Godzilla lets out an atomic blast that pierced the icy layer where Tiamat
kind of give her a little bit of a
out.
chance.
It was
technically her fault.
Actions that sealed her fate.
Yeah.
This would have been the second time that Godzilla kicked her out of a lair, and now that she had absorbed more energy and her fins had become much sharper,
she thought she could win.
She stood a chance against Godzilla this time. Big mistake.
Yep.
Remember, Godzilla
Do not take him on. You're gonna lose.
For daring to ambush him in his own house. And to make matters worse, Godzilla now saw Tiamat as an even greater threat. She was now wielding the same energy that he needed to become more powerful. Who knows? Maybe Tiamat stayed dormant, giving the illusion of compliance, but at the same time becoming more powerful, and thus making her likely to cause more destruction in the future.
That is
We'd like
true.
to think of Godzilla as a big picture thinker. Thinking ahead
Big shout out to Godzilla, then.
managing the Titans, determining which ones would be of good use and which ones should be disposed of because
so he pretty much decides who stays, who goes.
Tiamat had just turned into one of those threats. A destroyer titan who now just became more powerful, daring to fight Godzilla again, and on top of that, someone who had
she
already
lost once. Why would you want to go through
Godzilla.
that same thing
yeah,
again?
Big G wasn't going to let her get away this time.
No.
It was just too risky. So, what the G-Man did to Tiamat can be pretty much seen as an executive decision. Not everyone has to understand, but maybe he knew something Monarch didn't. Admittedly, if anyone saw this happen and wasn't aware of the context before Godzilla turned Tiamat into cooked sashimi, then Godzilla would have actually looked like a tyrant. But we're not concluding this episode without explaining how Godzilla killed
how
Tiamat.
she killed her.
Titanus
he
Tiamat,
killed her, sorry.
after being drawn out by the G-Man's atomic breath, goes on the offensive first, coiling around the G-Man just as she did in Godzilla Dominion, cutting into his hide.
Thought that same strategy would work, but it ultimately wouldn't.
Again, if Godzilla wanted to kill Tiamat, he would have done it already with the atomic breath. But no, Tiamat, instead of leaving, decides to go for the head of Godzilla, smothering him with her 4 petal-like appendages. Well, at this point, Godzilla had enough. Now, the book says
he was
that there
done
was
at
an
that point.
explosion first, and then the atomic breath followed. So, the explosion may have actually been Godzilla letting out another pulse to get Tiamat off of him, and then proceeding to slice her up with the
that would have been
breath.
interesting,
Or
with
it
him
could have
using
just
a
been
pulse.
the atomic breath from the start. The point is, Godzilla diced her up, mutilated her corpse, and decapitated her. From the viewer's perspective, Godzilla may have seemed like a cold-blooded killer, but if you really think about it, Godzilla pretty much did the world a favor by preventing Tiamat from becoming an alpha destroyer kaiju in the future, or outright
did us a favor,
making the opposition more powerful. Godzilla would then not only absorb this energy, but also go as far as salvaging the radioactive matter found in Tiamat's body, increasing his own molecular density, and in the act absorbing some of her DNA.
I didn't even think about that. How?
Lean, with sharper features in his body reminiscent of the previous Titan. Cooked crab and diced sea dragon was the aftermath of Godzilla's thirst for seafood in GXK. But Godzilla would still proceed to dominate later in this film.
But in the end, we ultimately got that evolved form of Godzilla, which I love so much. And that is going to be the end of this video here. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see more videos like these, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.